Hi, Charlie.
Hi, David. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm
Oh,
watching you all the time.
thank you. Well, it's an honor to have you here today. And as always, you have a little introduction. So here we go. You can hear it. A little bit of salt and pepper. Because, well, you know how I like to find the perfect song for each of my guests. And I thought, well, what a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man. I thought this song was perfect because David is loved by everybody in the event world. And he
I thought it
has
was,
such an
it
interesting
was salt and
background.
pepper.
Born in Allentown, Pennsylvania, he started out in ladies' fashion, producing runway fashion shows and learning the politics of who should seat in those coveted front row seats. Fashion took him to the art world, which took him to movie location management, which culminated in the world of special events, non-profit fundraising, and philanthropy. Quoting one of David's brides, David, get shit done. And I am excited to dive into the fascinating life of this real-life Devil Wears Prada. Please welcome the dashing and devilishly handsome Mr. David Pressman.
Thank you, Charlie.
What a man, what a mighty good man. That's you, David.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And
Thrilled to be here.
you are loved by so many people in the event world. You really are. Whenever I say David Pressman, they're like, oh, I love David. So
I don't know what to say.
just, take it all in and let it fill up your heart with love and happiness. How have you been, my friend? How has COVID time been treating you?
I'm very grateful for everyone in the world, really.
Yeah,
It's been stupidly difficult for everyone.
right.
And I just have been going along like everybody else. It's
Yeah,
fingers
just,
crossed.
yeah.
A news junkie. Uh, I don't sleep anymore.
I know,
Um,
I hear you.
and I eat everything I can find.
Wow, you're looking great to me.
I think I look a little bit, this angle makes me look a little bit.
You look great. I'm loving the beard, the COVID beard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, looks
Nice
good
and
on
white.
you. Looks good
Thank you.
on you.
Thank
I
you.
know it's been a year of reflection, hasn't it? And gratitude and for
Yeah,
what we had. And I don't know about you, but I don't think about, all right, what do we want next? What's next? I'm just sitting in the moment and
right.
taking one step. Every
Yeah,
day I get up and I get, great, that's a good day.
yeah.
I'm up.
Yeah, and it's a good day when we stay safe and healthy, wear our masks, wash our hands, and stay away from other people.
Exactly, except for when Kat is making you poached egg and avocado.
Which is, I'm part of her bubble.
I know, me too. Our socially distanced in the garden bubble. She's very good at that, I do have to
She's
say.
very
Thank you,
good at it.
Kat.
And Adi gets the credit for slicing the avocados and making the eggs. Kat is the hostess with the mostest.
Oh, she certainly is. And I love it when you go to the house, you have your own little tray and your own little plate and your own little
Yes,
food cut up in slices. Yeah. Yeah,
it's
God bless
perfect.
her. She's got me through this time as well. Yeah. Maybe one day we'll social distance in the garden, you and me and Kat.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We can
All
do
right,
that.
Kat.
She's
Oh,
there.
David, you've had the most interesting background to get you to where you are today. So here's a little trivia. Anybody who loves 42nd Street, the musical, David's from Allentown. Which character in 42nd Street was from Allentown? I don't know if you know. Put it in the comments. Anyway, so you're from Allentown. How did you get into this? Well, first of all, it was the artwork. Take us back.
Well, I went to New York City after college and I got a job in women's fashion. I answered an ad in Women's Wear Daily. It said, major American designer seeks self-starter with couture savvy, must be
Ooh.
willing to travel and available immediately. It's a long time ago and I remember the ad. And I knew what the word couture meant because I had taken French in college. So
Okay.
I called up and I got the job. It was with a designer named Mary McFadden, who in the 80s was a huge international designer. And I spent a solid 10 years in New York City. I worked for Mary. I worked for Jane Barnes for a minute, Ellen Tracy for a couple of years, and I worked for Calvin Klein directly.
Wow. What was that
And
like? Next
Calvin has
question.
his, yeah. Calvin and I actually, he was the last place I worked. Before I worked for Perry Ellis when Perry was alive.
Yeah.
And I worked directly for Perry also.
That must have been amazing.
Yeah, he was very Southern.
Oh,
Southern.
really?
Yeah,
Southern gentleman?
Not quite.
Okay.
He carried a bit of the South with him. His lover and longtime partner, though, was one of the kindest men I ever met in my life.
Oh.
That was very nice. Then I went to Calvin, and Calvin ultimately said to me, I don't care where you come from, just take your check and go home.
Wow.
He had put 10 shades of navy blue in a collection, and I had the temerity to suggest that, well, maybe 10 was 8 too many.
Oh, that reminds me of a scene in The Devil Wears Prada where she comes in that jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God. So it really was like that movie then.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. It was the time of private chefs and cars, and we each had our own floor in a building in the garment district.
Wow.
And gold level health plans, stuff that's illegal that you can't do anymore. Plus the stuff that's illegal that you can't do anymore.
Yeah, you can't do anymore. So, how amazing. What was it like because I know you did the fashion shows and you really did have to figure out who was sitting in those front rows. How is that? How do they decide that?
It is so political. We would do the seating, and then the designer, whether it was Perry or Mary or Calvin, would come through and go, no. Anna Wintour is here, and this person can't be near her. She's got to be on the other side of the runway. Wow. Or Andre Leon Talley, always goes at this spot. And then there were, the celebrities. Yeah. That were at every show, and friends of the designer.
Yeah. Whoever was the hit of the moment, I guess,
Yeah. Yeah. And you'd have and there'd be other designers that would come to the shows also. So,
wow. So you'd have to give them preferred seating as well, otherwise.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. And then all the stories that people hear about it are absolutely true. I mean, just crazy, batshit crazy.
Wow. So did you ever have a situation where you had a very unhappy celebrity or, not in the right place and you had to sort it out?
What would happen more often than that would be that the celebrity's assistants or the magazine at that time, maybe it was Vogue or Women's Wear Daily, that not the editors, but other people would be 2 or 3 rows back, and they would complain, and they did all the work, but they didn't get seats up front.
Wow, that's an incredible time. Does it still happen these days?
Well, not these days because of COVID.
Pre-COVID.
But yeah, it's still going on.
It's still going on. Wow.
And the great analogy to what we do is that, helping brides and grooms and couples figure out how to seat tables.
Well, I was going to say.
It's perfect.
What an introduction to preparing you to be a wedding planner. Yeah. And because I always say to my couple, and I don't know if you do this too, open a bottle of wine. You're going to need it.
Yeah, I
do it together.
I do. And apropos of your background, I say it's all show business. So.
It is. It's all show business.
Yeah.
100%. You're putting on a show. You put on fashion shows. You had the glitz and glamour of that. That's exactly the same. We're putting on a show. It's interesting, isn't it, how your background has completely helped you in what you do now.
So fashion and then the art world in New York City, and having art openings and dealing with celebrities and other dealers.
Yeah.
Same thing. You're
How
getting
did
people there.
Yeah, how did the art world, how did that come out after fashion? And was this all things that you were interested in when you were a kid? What did you want to do when you were a
I
kid?
want I wanted to be an architect
Oh,
when I
wow.
was a little kid. Playing in the sandbox. I wanted to be an architect.
How,
Uh,
which you now do as well when you're building a
well,
tent
yeah,
or
yeah. More the logistics that we both do, but yes, to a degree. And I just kind of fell into the art world because I had been collecting art when I was in fashion. And when Calvin and I had our blow up and my contract wasn't renewed, that coincided with him shutting down the division that I was running. And that made the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal.
oh heck.
And the owners of the gallery that I was frequenting reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to come and work for us?" And I said, "No, I don't know anything about art." And then they asked 10 months later, and I called my older brother and he said to me, "Did anybody else offer you a job this week?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, what do you think? Next week?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, then you know what to do." So I
That's how
took
you took
that
the job.
job. Yeah.
Wow.
Which
Now
is,
did they
I was
did they
just going to say, that's pretty much how I have lived my life. Somebody asks me to do something, I say yes, and then I learn and I just figure it out.
that's so interesting. The power of yes is so strong, isn't it?
Yeah. I used to say no all the time,
Huh.
automatically. Oh, can we do this? No.
Yeah.
Can we order that? No.
Well,
It's just not worth it.
how interesting. And then
Yeah.
the power of once you say yes to things, everything seems to turn around then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 You see, yes. So did they teach you everything you needed to know then in the art world?
So, yes. Well, I already knew how to sell.
Yeah.
So, and I knew how to dress. And and I had a passion for beautiful things.
Yeah.
So it wasn't difficult. And then I left the art world and I moved to LA and I was a private art dealer in Los Angeles,
That must
which
have been
basically
so
meant
much
that
fun.
I would either buy a painting or get someone to buy a painting and then have pre-sold it and have the buyer in another room paying me so I could go to the other room, pay them, and bring the painting back. And this happened
Oh.
for a year or two. Oh, one of my oldest friends just joined
Ah,
from New
Bedford.
York, Bedford, New York Homes,
How lovely. We'll give him a
another
little
former
wave. There we
fashion
go.
executive.
Oh, how fantastic. I've given him a
Yeah,
little wave.
be good, Michael. Don't embarrass either one of
Come on,
us.
give us some stories,
No,
Michael.
no,
Give us some stories.
no,
no,
no, no, no, no, no.
no. It's all good. It's all good
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it's all good.
And do you have to this day, do you still have paintings that you've collected? Do you have a
Yes.
lovely art collection?
Well, I've sold off a lot of it over the years to live.
Yeah.
And in between things. But when I went from motion pictures to events, I sold a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But I loved having it, and to me that stuff's not important anymore. It's being
Yeah.
healthy and
Counterfeit.
counterfeit.
Oh, that's some stories. No. Yeah, art is so subjective, isn't it? I mean,
Yes, yeah,
I love going to art galleries, and sometimes I can look at art and go, do not get it.
right.
I do
And
not get
and
it.
it's like ice cream. You like it or you don't like it.
Yeah,
Nobody, you don't have to explain to anyone why you don't like something. You
yeah.
say, I don't like it. It's
It either
fine.
resonates in your soul or
Right,
it just doesn't.
right.
Yeah.
And that's really like the key. I used to say there were only three rules to buying art, which was you have to love it first. The second is buy